seen my video and to have me make a video specially to answer your question, send me an email to englishclubusa@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website at englishclubusa.com for a free life membership. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. There are almost no English teachers that teach verb to be the way it should be taught. And this is the reason why there are no students that know how to use the verb to be and all of the functions that verb to be has. Well, today we're in luck. In the next 30 minutes, you will understand exactly how verb to be functions in English language. In addition to functioning as a verb that converts a process, as I have discussed in my other videos, verb to be in reality has a meaning. But in addition to a meaning, verb to be actually has functions. And in reality, there are 4 functions in English language that we need to understand in order to manage English language. And the reason why these functions are so important is because verb to be and how it functions occupies half of English language. So the good news is today I would like to do an overview with all of you so that you will understand how half of the English language functions. Without this, it will be impossible to talk about English language and the verbs. So, before you start watching other videos where I have in details discussed how the verb to be functions, in this video I would like to give you an overview, a big picture, so you will understand exactly where verb to be takes place in the English language and what are the 4 functions. Well, first of all, verb to be, the function, the main function, the only function of verb to be is to state a fact. So when we are talking about verb to be, we do not express opinions. We express facts. So, let's take a look at the quick example, and then we will talk about additional examples that are similar to the example we have here today, so that you will better understand how verb to be functions as a fact identifier. Well, what is a fact? You will ask me a question. Well, fact is anything that 100% of people agree on. For example, Coca-Cola. What is Coca-Cola? Well, all of us know that Coca-Cola is a drink. Everybody agrees on that. In addition to that, Coca-Cola is also a company. And that's a fact. So we all agree that Coca-Cola is both a drink and a company. That is without question. So that means we can use the verb to be to describe facts. Coca-Cola as a company was is verb to be in the past tense, was established in the 19th century. And it's a fact, originated in Atlanta, Georgia, in United States. So those are examples of facts using the repetition, which is, and the past tense. In addition to that, we also know, and everybody agrees, that Coca-Cola is not healthy. So if we agree that Coca-Cola is unhealthy, that means now we made unhealthy a fact. Well, what are the differences between a company and unhealthy? Well, the difference is that is how these words function in English language. Company, if you saw my other videos, is a noun. Noun is anything that answers a question what. Unhealthy is an adjective. An adjective is anything that answers a question what type or what kind. So the function of verb to be is to describe facts that are one of two things. They're either nouns or adjectives. I will make a special video where we will practice different kinds of facts that we can use with the verb to be. But now let's take a look at what other fact we can use verb to be describe. Well, what no one thought about is that verb to be, in addition to describe nouns and adjectives, verb to be can describe time. So how does verb to be describes time in a factual way? Well, they're not verbs to be, right? Well, let's see how they work. In my other video, I gave an example that I was not an English teacher before I came to Uruguay. I was a teacher, but not an English teacher. So the fact was a negative. I was not an English teacher. And then one day, I decided it's time to go to work. And I went out and I found a job in about 30 minutes. So I was not an English teacher. And then after an interview, I was an English teacher. Remember my example? Well, in that case, it's not that I was not and then I was. So how do you describe a verb to be that factually changes from a negative fact to a positive fact? Well, there's a word that functions exactly that way in order to help verb to be to describe that change in facts. And that verb is become. So I was not an English teacher, then I was an English teacher. So what do you call a quick change from the negative to the positive? I became an English teacher. So became, what it does, it shows the verb to be, how it changes from a negative verb to be to a positive verb to be, or in reverse. So in this case, for example, before I made videos for all of you, I was not famous. I was a little famous in Montevideo as an English teacher, but I was not famous in the world. I was not famous on YouTube. But I'm sure with these videos I will become famous. So I will go from the negative to the positive. Well, is there anything else? Of course. So remember, English is binary. That means if we have a quick change, we must have a slow change. And what is it about slow change in facts of be? Well, it's very simple. For example, I was popular. So it's a fact. But now I am, verb to be, more popular. And as the web page becomes more famous, as there will be quick changes, I will grow in popularity. So this is what will happen. It will be a slow change. I will grow in popularity and I will grow more and more popular as my students throughout the world are watching video classes and are doing video homework. So it's not that I will be popular, which is the future, but it's the future that I will grow more popular. The change, just like it was in the unhealthy, but in this case it's a fact. Well, in this case it's a slow change in the same quality. Remember when I gave another example in the other video, when I was explaining in the other video the functions of these 4 verbs, I gave an example of my loving to travel to Rio. And when I left Montevideo at 6 o'clock in the morning and I came to Rio 13 hours later, I was a little tired in the morning at 6:30. But when I got to Rio, I was not tired, but I was more tired. So it was a verb to be from a small quantity of being tired to a large quantity of tired, and the change was gradual. So I grew tired during my trip. Well, in addition to the changes, where in the first case it was a polarity change from positive to negative or from negative to positive. In addition to changes in polarity, you have changes in amount of quality of an adjective. But what else do we have that has to do with the verb to be with time? Well, another way is when you are trying to compare something, which is a fact, to some kind of a change afterwards, after the fact took place. So, you have a stay and remain. Those are the other 2 opposite words. In a sense that, for example, you are watching a video. This is a video class. So what you can do, you can be in your seat a little longer and go back and listen to the explanation again. The class is about 20, maybe 30 minutes at the most. But you want to be there for another 5 minutes. So what do you call that when you want to be there for a time that is shorter than normal? The normal time for you in this video is 20 to 30 minutes at the most. But you want to be 5 minutes more. 5 minutes is shorter than normal video. That means you will stay after the video, or you will stay watching video a little longer. But what happens if you want to stay for a very long time? So after watching the video, you will decide to do video homework on this video. Now, video homework is a lot longer than the video class. Video classes are between 15 and 25 minutes normally. Video homework is between 35 minutes and an hour. And that's 35 minutes and an hour is my time in the video, explaining details. When you do video homework, it will take you at least twice as long. So you will probably take 2 hours doing one video homework. So your English class will last 15-25 minutes, but you may decide to be doing video homework after the video class. So will you be doing, or you will remain doing? And the correct answer is you will remain doing video homework after you watch the video class. So that's the verb to be. But it sounds and it functions a lot better because be is just a fact. It gives no quality. It doesn't show any change. The other four verbs give verb to be an additional quality. It gives verb to be additional depth and dimension. So this is why these four verbs are so important. So if you're trying to describe anything in English language that has to do with a time change, you have two options. Option number one, you may describe a change in verb to be that has to do with the time, and that change will be either quick or slow. And the second function is you will compare the amount of time to the original or to the normal. And when you do the comparison, the result will be either shorter than normal or longer than normal. This, unfortunately, is not available anywhere on YouTube, and it's not available anywhere on the internet. I don't know why, but English teachers just don't teach that. But they use it. So how is it possible that the students learn without being taught? So this is why this video is that important. Okay, and you ask me, well, Valerio, we just covered the facts. But then there's the other part, and their opinions. So let's see how that works for us. Well, now let's take a look how verb to be functions to represent opinions. Opinions are not facts. So when you're trying to use the word to be together with the expression I think, and you say, I think Valerio's classes are wonderful, sounds good? To me, sounds bad. Why? It's my opinion. So how can you possibly describe your opinion without using verb to be as a fact and the expression I think? There are verbs. There's something that helps you do just that. So when it comes to expressing opinions, there is a verb to be, for sure. It doesn't look like verb to be. It doesn't sound like a verb to be, but it functions just like verb to be. So how does it function? It functions to describe, just like Coca-Cola, but it describes an opinion, not a fact. So what are the choices? And the choices are simple. English language likes details. So whenever you have an opinion, when you have a fact, we know what the fact is. Everybody agrees. So there's no reason to know what the origin of the fact. Fact is a fact. 2 plus 2 is 4. It doesn't matter where you go. You don't need the origin of information. You don't need observation. Fact is a fact. But when you have an opinion, everybody says, Valerio, okay, you have an opinion. But how do you know? If you think that Valerio's classes are wonderful, that's a fact. Well, not everybody thinks that my classes are wonderful. So how do you express an opinion? If you saw my classes, you may say Valerio's classes look wonderful. Remember the video we did on the 5 senses? Well, they are functioning exactly just like verb to be. They're there to describe information, just like verb to be. So when you want to talk about Valerio classes look wonderful, excellent. What other 5 senses do we have? They're located in our body. So things look, things smell, things taste, things sound, and things feel. So when you're trying to express an opinion based on a specific observation, everybody wants to know, how do you know? So if you're expressing an opinion and your opinion is specific, you cannot use the verb to be. Because verb to be is not an opinion. Even if you put the word I think in front of it. Because if you say that I think Valeria's classes are wonderful, I don't understand. How do you know? So by putting I think in front of verb to be, trying to express an opinion doesn't function. It doesn't answer the question, how do you know? It gives me no information about your observation. So that is why we have 5 verbs that are replacing verb to be in order to give audience understanding how your observation took place that helped you get to that opinion. So if you tell that the coffee smells delicious, I know that your observation was based exclusively on your nose. You didn't drink it, you didn't see it, you smelled it. But what happens if you say, well, in addition to smelling the coffee, I tasted the coffee? So what happens if you're trying to express 2 different observations? How do you use 2 verbs to be to express 2 different observations? Very simple. You have to use 2 verbs to be. And the 2 verbs to be are here. You will say that the coffee both smells and tastes delicious. So now I know that you actually tried the coffee and you smelled the coffee. But what happens if you never smelled the coffee, you never tried the coffee, but you have an opinion that the coffee is delicious? What are you telling me? What other observation can you have about coffee? Very simple. You may say that the coffee, because of presentation of the coffee with nice cream on top of it with cherry and chocolate sprinkles, you may say that the coffee looks delicious. When you do that, you're telling me that your opinion about coffee being delicious is limited only by observation, visual. Only visual observation. You don't know what it tastes like? Maybe it's horrible. You don't know what it smells like? Maybe it's disgusting. But it looks delicious. So, I'm going to invite you to my house and I will be serving coffee. And I will be serving coffee with chocolate liqueur. In addition to that, there will be a peel of orange, and the coffee will be from the most expensive place in Guatemala, where only that coffee grows. And 1 cup of coffee in Guatemala costs $50. And that's the coffee I will be serving to you. Do you have an opinion? Does it sound delicious? Does it look delicious? Does it smell delicious? Does it taste delicious? What did I just do? I just gave you a chance to observe information by listening to information. So now you may say, Valerio, your suggestion sounds delicious. Wait, have you tried a suggestion? Have you seen a suggestion? But suggestion are words that are coming out of the mouth. So suggestion can also be delicious. This is why English is so important. This is why understanding verb to be and how it functions in English language is that important. If you don't understand how observations function to describe an opinion, you're not managing half the language. So you say, okay, Valerio, but what about if I don't want to be specific? What if I want to be general? What if there are many observations and I want to put all of them in one package? Is there a solution? And the answer is yes. Well, the fourth function of verb to be is yes, to express an opinion, not a fact. And sometimes you have other necessities to use verb to be. For example, what happens when you have a mixed salad of previously discussed specific informations? What do? How can you use verb to be as a salad? But to let people know more details of how you observed it. Is there a way? And there is. And that's when you're trying to express a general opinion. So remember, English is binary. That means that we need to have two ways of doing that. That's why general information needs to be flexible. So how do you make general information flexible? Very simple. We are humans. Our observation is based primarily on vision. So that is why vision is so important to describe facts and to describe opinions. So we need a way how to describe a mixed salad and maybe give it a little special touch. So, when you're trying to describe a mixed salad without any consideration to anything important, there's a way. And the way is, Valerius' classes seem interesting. What you're doing now, you're not trying to say that they are interesting. It's not a fact. But what you're trying to say that you have an opinion, and your opinion is based on many things. They're based on how you felt in the class. They're based on how things looked in organization. It explains how the information sounded when presented to you. In reality, it's interesting. It's fun. Why? There are many reasons why. And you don't want to discuss all of them. And that's perfect. You just want to express an opinion and describe the opinion what it is and give an adjective. So you say Valerius' classes seem interesting. And that's all. When you do that, people understand that they shouldn't ask you questions. Because it's a salad and you have no idea why English classes seem interesting. So when you use the word seem, you are reducing questions. But if you want to leave the door open for the questions, and people can ask you, well, do you have any other observations? There's a way to do that. What you do is you say, well, the classes seem interesting, but what I saw was really important. That was number one reason why the information was interesting. So visual information, because we're humans, visual information is number one for all of us. If we like something, when we see it, we will probably take advantage of it. If we don't like what we see, we'll leave it alone. The same thing happens with verb to be. So, how do you do that? How do you describe an opinion, give a salad, and leave the door open for questions? And that's very easy. All you have to do is add the observation part to your salad. So you make the salad visually more pleasant. So what do? You say Valerius' classes appear interesting. So when things appear, that means that there is a salad of information, but visual information is number one. You see, in just a few minutes today, we covered half of English language. Without this half of English language, speaking English is impossible. Whatever you say and whatever you do in English language, it requires two things. One thing is action, and the other one is description. Well, today we did the description part, and I hope you enjoyed the class, and I'm sure I will see you next time. To be in my video and to have me make a video specially to answer your question, send me an email to englishclubusa@yahoo.com, and you can visit my website at englishclubusa.com for a free life membership. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell.